If I were to say one thing that you probably want, I'm just gonna ask all you guys to please do this. Just be kind to everyone, no matter what, no matter who they are, no matter what they believe, no matter how different they are from you. He never cared. He was just kind.
Hello and good morning, everyone.
Good morning, you guys. It's been a minute, been a while since we picked up the camera and we've been able to talk with you guys and share with you. We really appreciate your guys' understanding and your patience, and without even knowing what's going on, the outpouring of love and support that you guys have sent our way through messages and other things. As you guys know, it is uncharacteristic of us to ever not post a video or to drop off the map on social media, on Instagram, and you guys have been really patient with us putting out those movies kind of back to back. But I think we were just waiting for the appropriate time until everyone involved was comfortable, out of respect and out of privacy for everyone involved, because it affects more than just us and more than just the This Is How We Become Family. It does greatly and deeply impact everyone, but we just wanted to make sure that particularly my mom was okay with us kind of explaining what happened to the world. As part of sharing your daily life on the internet, you share a lot of ups and downs and personal private moments. When something this big happens, it's not something that you would ever want to hide, but it's not something that you could really feel comfortable quickly sharing. So many things to process, so many emotions going on. We just felt like it was the best thing to set the camera down, and we're grateful. We've had now a full week or more to go through that, and so we are very grateful to you guys for giving us that opportunity to do that. We did want to continue to entertain and help you guys find happiness and joy in your daily lives and continue to put things out. It just wasn't working the way we wanted to. It wasn't as authentic as we would have liked it to be. We are now able to share with you guys what has been happening. Clearly significant, nothing short of tragic. We're gonna do our best to get through the details of the story. We haven't even said anything. We haven't even turned on the camera or talked to it in so long. It feels really weird because you guys are family too. And I know so many of you are hurting and wondering, and you just don't know what's going on, fearing the worst. And we are really sorry to say that it probably is the worst. We'll kind of walk you through the events of what happened, but Sunday, a week ago or so, depending on when we actually put this video out, my mom and dad were watching my brother's kids, and they just live right across the way, and so we got to go to church together, and that was really cool. And
Really awesome.
Little Brexy gave a talk, and Mom and Papa got to see him give his talk, which was really cool, just that they were there to see that. And just after church got out, my mom came over to our house, and she said, "Hey, I think I need to take your dad to the hospital. I'm worried that he had a stroke." And I was like, "What? Like, you gotta be kidding me." So I went out to the car. Thankfully, they were just across the street, and he was sitting in the passenger seat, and she was driving, and he seemed okay, but he said he felt a little bit funny.
He felt funny.
I'll never forget the way he said, "I just feel a little off." He said his left arm was a little bit tingly and he felt a little bit off. I said, "Well, be better safe than sorry. You go take him. We'll be here if you need us." I just thought it was kind of a casual issue, not a big deal. They took off to the hospital nearby, and then Mindy thought maybe my mom probably would want some company just in case they're there for a while. You never know how long you're gonna be when you check into those things. She went to the hospital to go meet up with her. Once they got there, Mindy was able to get there just as they were arriving. It seemed like it might be a little more serious than we thought when they first left. Mindy called me and said, "Hey, it might be worth coming down here to give your dad a priesthood blessing." I'm sorry guys, there's a lot to tell you. I'll try and get through this. For those of you who are not familiar with the priesthood blessing, it's a special blessing given through the power of the priesthood, which is the power to act in the name of God, and so it's just a really special blessing. Something that I learned from my dad. So I was like, wow, shoot, so it sounds like it's pretty serious then. If you want me to do that, let me get my shoes on and I'll come right down. So I went down there, and he was being your typical grumpy old man who just wants to get out of the hospital. He's like, "Get these things off me and get me out of here. This is a waste of my afternoon." And
Papa's not a grumpy old man.
He's not grumpy, but it's like almost like a funny thing.
But
like,
it was kind of funny.
Like, this is wasting everybody's time. Get me out of here. Like,
I just want to go home.
I want to go home. I got stuff to do. I was like, "Hey, Pop, just chill and I'll give you a blessing. We'll get you out of here." I was able to give him a very special blessing that I'll never forget.
It was pretty incredible.
And so, that night we had a lot of things. Actually, speaking of the priesthood, we had a lot of things going on because a little creepy dude will be receiving the priesthood next year, and so they have what's called a priesthood preview, as they tell kids about it and teach them what they're getting into. Our guy is currently the president of the Deacons Quorum in our ward, which is the first entry level of the priesthood for those of you who are not familiar with the setup of how church organization works in our church. So Rai guy was actually supposed to give a talk at that. Crew was going to figure out what the priesthood's all about, and then I am also the leader of the 12-year-olds, which is the group that was being welcomed in, and so I was there to kind of welcome everybody in. And so my mom said everything's fine, and Dad said, "Yeah, go to your thing, we'll be good." So we went to the activity.
We tried.
That night, we did. Ryler was ready. The nice thing is we were all in our best Sunday dress. We went to the activity, and Ryler's ready to give his talk. He practiced it with Crew, and Crew was ready then. We got a phone call while we were walking into the church that it looks as if things had taken a turn for the worse, that my dad needed to be transported from the hospital he was at to a a more significant trauma unit. It's the Utah Valley Regional Hospital. If you guys have been here a while, it's where I got my leg surgery.
They have an ICU unit at that hospital that they did not have at the hospital close to our house.
Yeah, and
he needed to be admitted to an ICU.
They've got access to some, you know, better doctors and surgeons that have better specialties and things like that. So he needed to be transported there. And so when we got that news, I said, I need to be there. I need to go. And so I told Rye Guy, hey, I'm sorry I'm gonna miss your talk, but I gotta run. And he could just sense the urgency in my voice, and so he broke into tears. It's a small setting, there's only a few people there, so we were kind of a spectacle. Then I told Crew, I gave him a hug, and I said, hey buddy, you're gonna do great, I'm really sorry, but I'll be with you. Crew breaks into tears and just can't control his crying, and Mindy looks at me through tears, and she's like, we just can't stay, we need to be there. Talked to our bishop and said, please excuse us, we've had a family emergency and we need to leave. And so we all loaded into the car and we went to Utah Valley, and thankfully we beat the ambulance there. We got there before the ambulance, which was nice, so we could be there to receive my mom. And my mom got out of the car and they got my dad out of the ambulance, and he was sound asleep, even snoring actually. But it wasn't because of medication, so that was an issue. His vitals were great, but nothing should have had him asleep. And so they wheeled him into the hospital. The kids were all there as he got out of the ambulance. And that was nice to just be there together at that moment. They got him checked in immediately. They ran some CT scans and an MRI. They identified pretty dangerous blood clot in a very dangerous area. I can't remember the names honestly now because it's been a while. It's in like the basal artery someplace in your neck up into your head as it goes into your brain. And so it's the main feeder artery of blood into your brain. When that had clotted, that's what caused him to fall asleep, and it kind of controls your ability to wake up and come out of being asleep. They had just this rock star team. They called it the A team, and they all came in. They were all off of work, and they all jetted in, talked to like a radiologist, a neurologist, the surgeon, everybody. I can't remember everybody's names and all of their functions, but ordered up, and I call it a surgery, but it's like a CL something, where basically they just go in and they remove the clot. And the surgeon came in, and he said, his words were, this is a Hail Mary. We're throwing a Hail Mary to see if we can get in there and get this out. We didn't realize it was so serious until he said that Hail Mary line, because we thought, I didn't realize we were even in a situation where Hail Mary was necessary, because it was just all happening so fast. Just really so much. It was kind of just like going in and over our heads. It was just so much. And so I was grateful that I could be there. Wild, but every single person in the family was out of town, either in another country or another state. So I was very grateful that we had absolutely nothing going on. We were around and available. And so I was in there with my mom, and obviously every other sibling would be if they could be, but we had one in Iceland, one in Panama, one in Vegas, and one in Florida. So the entire family was spread across the world. I was in there with my mom as she got this news. We decided to do the procedure. The surgeon said he's gonna go in and it's a Hail Mary. He said, we've got to get in there right now though, because the faster we can get to it, the better. Fairly complex procedure of weaving through blood vessels up into the place where the clot was, and they told us to expect 2 or 3 hours. And 10 minutes later he walked out, which if I'm being honest, I assumed the worst. We were just thinking, if you come out that fast, it's probably not good news. But he came out and he said the Hail Mary was caught, and we just were beside ourselves.
Into tears.
Rejoiced in tears. It was an amazing moment. He started his recovery from that in the hospital, and he was admitted there. He's gonna be there for a few days. Everyone went to bed that night feeling that we had witnessed a miracle. This is incredible. He's on his road to recovery, and we'll see what that looks like, and it could be like a lengthy road, but we're here for him. And it was really best case scenario under the circumstances. And I don't know if I specifically said this, but he did suffer a stroke, and that's what was clots and the stroke in the brain. And it was a big enough deal. It was causing some serious problems. And around 3 o'clock in the morning that same night, he slipped back asleep. The days and all of the procedures kind of run together here, but at that point they did some more scans on him to see what was going on, and they identified additional clots. They realized that he had suffered a second, much more significant stroke in the middle of the night. So they brought the same team in to go back in and work their magic again. At that point, when we woke up the next morning, we had received messages from my mom that things had escalated. I think it was like 4 in the morning that I went to the hospital.
Jillian called me and sent Brandon to go give his dad an additional blessing, hoping for a miracle, I think. At
that point, we knew it was a different story this time. The second one was far worse, so we started bringing siblings home from around the world, and one by one they started showing up from all over the world. If I'm being honest, the following like 2 or 3 days are just complete fog, a total haze. One by one, each sibling was able to make it into town, rush to the hospital. Each time they walked in the door and saw Papa for the first time, it was like reliving it all over again, because we'd been there, been seeing the ups and downs and the ins and outs as it was happening. Each time a new sibling would arrive, would open the door and see him in the hospital bed. It was like reliving it all over again. And so it was just this absolute fuzzy, hazy blur of watching him not show any signs of recovery.
Watching your sweet mama by his side the entire time.
Yeah, my sweet mom, you guys, she didn't leave his side. She didn't let go of his hand. She actually didn't eat or sleep for the entire 3 or 4 days that he was in there, which is horrible for her health, but she just couldn't bring herself to do anything as long as he was laying there in that condition. So, Anyways, the upside of this, as we tend to find the positive in all things, we were able to all gather as a family. Everybody, every single person was able to gather around his hospital bed and be with him. It's kind of a small magical miracle, I guess you could say, that we were all literally physically touching him as he slipped away. Everyone was holding a hand or touching a part of his leg, and my mom was giving him kisses on his head and face, and it was beautiful, you guys, absolutely beautiful. Certainly, he would not have wanted to have gone so soon, so suddenly, so unexpectedly, but he was surrounded by everything that mattered to him.
It was his precious family.
It was his family.
Kids.
The only thing he cared about was family. You guys, it's all he was a family man. Because of the father he was to me, that's why all I want to do is be an amazing dad, because of the dad that I have, you guys. I've said this so many times, everything that I am proud of in me, which is not a ton, a lot that I can work on, things that I am proud of, that I feel like I do a pretty good job at, I can say I got from my dad. Putting my family, my kids first, and always being around and available for them. And as a guy who traveled a lot for business, but you never felt like he wasn't around or wasn't available. I don't know, it's just that like we were his world, we were his everything. He didn't care about anything except his family. So in that moment, he had everything. And so if it's hard to understand through all the babbling and the way the story is pinged all over the place, Papa Bingham, as you guys know, the Papa of the This Is How Bingham family, one of the biggest supporters of us and what we do, and he loved you guys. He loved to say hello. Hello, This Is How Bingham family. He sadly and tragically passed away, and that's why we've been gone. Mourning his passing. It's not something we'll get over soon. It leaves too big of a hole in our hearts and in our lives. But guys, I gotta tell you, the way he raised us and taught us is to pick ourselves up and get going again. He taught us about eternal families. We, as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we believe in eternal families. We believe that there is an afterlife where we'll be together again. And even though it was like the hardest thing any of us have been through,
most heartbreaking thing we've ever faced.
I watched every single person individually go through the hardest moment of their life together in one room. But there was great peace, you guys. There was a great peace knowing that we'll be together again. I know that. I know that he's waiting for us, saving seats for us at the table, getting appetizers and drinks all around. Disneyland Dad, as we called him.
We'd often go to restaurants and he would order appetizers and drinks all around. Bring them out.
And if the drink refills weren't coming fast enough,
he'd order two.
He'd order 2 drinks so he didn't have to wait for the refill. And really, one of the things that's been great about all this is we've just been sitting around telling stories, reliving great memories of Pop, all of the things that made him amazing. I've been fortunate enough to write the obituary for him. I was blessed with that honor. My mom asked me to do that, and we'll probably share that with you guys somewhere because I did my best. You really can't put the worth of a man like that into words, but I did my best to kind of bring together all the things that we said, some of the things that we commonly thought of when we thought of Pop.
So many.
And put them down. There's so many. If I were to sum it up, he was just a selfless person. Only thought of others, never thought of himself. He was that guy who saw people as our Heavenly Father sees them. He loved them immediately and deeply before he ever learned their name. That's just who he was. Anyone who was around him wanted to be better, wanted to be kinder to people, just felt loved. We've received so many messages from family and friends who have said, he was like a dad to me. He treated me like a son, and I just felt that way around him. Obviously, this news spreads kind of in your immediate circles here in our neighborhood, our immediate family, close friends, people that are able to get this information word of mouth. And the outpouring of love and support was on a level that I didn't even know was possible in humankind. We have been so loved and so supported throughout this.
You guys, our neighborhood came together and brought dinner for 18 of us.
Not just dinner, Thanksgiving dinner.
The night before Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving dinner.
And they made it on their own Thanksgiving. They made it Thanksgiving dinner for their own families and for us.
Had friends drop by, blankets and groceries. I've had friends offer to do my laundry. Stephanie has slept at my house.
Slept at the house every night we were at the hospital because we would go to the hospital until at least 3 a.m. if we even came home at all. She would just stay here at the house. You guys know that we had to keep things up and running on the business side, so we were able to launch our Christmas merch, which we did not hype that up because it was very hard to be hype at the time, but we knew it needed to get out there to you guys. We know that a lot of people have that on their Christmas wish list. Well, guess who's been sitting at the house filling orders while we grieve? Stephanie's been here literally packaging up boxes, just working for us so that we can just cry. This is just amazing people.
For us. And
people in our lives.
I hugged her last night and just cried and told her thank you.
We don't deserve it.
We have felt so beyond love. We just want to thank you guys a lot.
We're sure that now that this is out there, we'll receive an additional insane, incredible outpouring of support. And so in advance, thank you guys. I know we don't get to see you guys face to face, but it does lift us. It does support us. Seeing the positive messages, the concern before anyone even knew what was happening, so heartwarming to us at a time that we needed it so badly. Your love and support, although it is digital and virtual and we don't get to hug you in real life, it means a ton.
If you ever have the thought to do something for someone, if you feel any sort of prompting at all,
on
follow it, because you just might not know what someone's going through.
There's been so many things going on, and so we can't thank you guys enough for your patience, your understanding.
There's
been so much to get done, and at the same time we're trying to keep up with this and with you guys, and it's just so much. It's a lot.
It's been a lot.
And you know, we got sweet Maddie. I don't even know if you guys know this, but she's leaving on her mission, actually leaving to the Dominican Republic.
Leaving the country.
And so I really wanted to go and see her. I don't know when this is gonna come out, but there's just so much going on, you guys. It's so much, and a lot of it's really heavy, a lot of it's really great.
It's been heavy. I think we're learning there's different phases. One day you're great, and the next
It's like
day
1 minute you're great.
I feel glazed over, and the next day I'm crying.
One of the things that I love about our family is a lot of humor involved. And be in the middle of just that deep, deep sorrow, and someone will make this completely wild joke and everybody just breaks crying and gets into laughing. And it really helps, I think.
It helps so much.
It's been just a roller coaster, and like Mindy said, you'll just be sitting there fine, think like, oh, this is either a dream or I'm doing okay, and out of nowhere you're just find yourself
blindsided with the emotion.
Staring at the wall crying. And I'm sure a lot of you want to know how the kids are doing. The kids are doing fantastic. They've experienced a lot of the ups and downs as well. We'll find them just kind of spontaneously crying, but then they've really been able to be together, rally together. We've been doing sleepovers every night together. We've just been together as a family.
Every single night.
Every night since Papa went to the hospital.
I think it's brought our kids together. They feel unified. They feel close to the Spirit. Talk about how there is peace in Christ and through the gospel and the things that we know, the plan of salvation, that we believe that we're going to be together again. We have testimonies of that, and we know that we're going to see Papa again.
We wouldn't be able to go through this or do this if we didn't know and believe that we'll be with Papa again. He's an incredible man, leaves a legacy of nothing but greatness. There's no proper or appropriate way to eulogize or remember him that would be fitting for how amazing of a person he was. But I did think we could look back at some of the recent memories we've been able to capture with him in our vlogs, some of the fun things that he's been a part of. I don't even know how to wrap this up because there's just so much more I wanted to say, but I just think it will come over time as we remember little things here and there. We want to pick the camera back up, get back involved with you guys, get you back involved in our lives. We want to move forward because we know that's what Papa would want us to do. He wouldn't want us to sit around feeling sorry for a second. He'd want us to excitedly move forward with everything we have going on in life, celebrate life, to live life to the fullest. If I were to say one thing that you probably want, I'm just gonna ask all you guys to please do this. Just be kind to everyone. That's what Papa would want. He'd want you to be kind to everyone.
That's what he would be.
So guys, look at yourself and do your best to be kind to everyone, no matter what, no matter who they are, no matter what they believe, no matter how different they are from you. He never cared. He was just kind. So I'd ask you guys to do that for Papa, okay? We love you guys so much. I don't know if this is the end of the video or what. We just needed to tell you what's going on. If it is, thank you, we love you.
We love you so much. And that's one thing Papa always said was, thank you, we love you.
And we are thankful, and we do love you. We look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hopefully tomorrow. We love you guys.
See ya.
You'll notice I'm cool now because I'm wearing my hat like my son.
I love it when we twin like this, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
How are they? These cookies are so good, I want two.
This has just begun, man. We got a good day ahead for you. Thank you. You're great. Hey, Dad, do you know what time it is by chance?
Yeah, it's
Time to get a new vlog.
17.
Can we dance?
Yes, of course. We're gonna have a 6-year-old all the way up to a 73-year-old on the same car.
Wait, who's 73?
Papa, you doing it?
Faisey's doing it, I'm doing it.
Cover your eyes, cover your eyes.
Oh, that's much better.
Welcome home! Welcome home, brother and sister Bingham! Woo! Return with honor! Papa! Welcome home, my man! Papa! Hello, people at home! We love you! Mona and Papa are back! It's official! Thank you for this. Yes, hey Pop.
Incredible gift.
We love having you here and that you can just pop in like this and it's no big deal. This is normal life.
We're buying a house down
Yeah.
here so we can do
Be closer. Yeah, I love it, man. I love it.